Hi there friends, I'm Kelly from Feeling Yum. This is part 2 of a 2-part video. We'll be making salsa and I'll be showing you how to serve it with some jicama sticks. Now let's get to the video. So we're back. Now we're going to do the salsa. So first I'm going to show you, we're going to get our different kinds of peppers. Sometimes like poblano peppers are great. Like I said, this one's pastilla, Anaheim, and then one spicy one, a serrano. These ones are mild. So if you like mild, you can stick with these. So I'm just gonna cut them and then we're gonna put them on a pan to roast. So I will open. With these ones, these are sweeter peppers, so we're gonna take out the seeds. We don't need those. So I'm just gonna put all that to the side here. Yeah, so it depends what your market has or what you might have in the fridge is fine. It's just to have some pepper flavor in your salsa. So we're just gonna cut these. If a few seeds get in there, it's okay too. Just roughly chopping because we're gonna end up blending all these ingredients. So right now it's just quick chop, and these ones you just want them kind of around the same size because they're gonna roast together. But that's about it. So this is the Anaheim. Get that open. Leave those seeds to the side. Yep. So yeah, they're just kind of generally same size. Okay, so that's those. And then if you want to add something spicy, you can do that. So I'm just going to split that one in half. Another tip too, when you're dealing with, just be careful when you're cutting all these spicy peppers, especially if you're gonna like hold your baby after or something like that, or rub your face. You will have those spicy oils on here, so just make sure that you wash your hands. Something with acid can help. So if you put some like lemon or lime on your hands and wash them with soap, you can try to get most of that off. But check before. You can kind of like taste that on your fingers or something because those oils get on your finger. Okay, now that these are all chopped, we're gonna put them in the pan and then we're gonna roast them at 400 degrees for about 12 minutes. And then we're gonna stir halfway to make sure they all roast pretty evenly. So I'm gonna put these to the side because now we're gonna go over what we're gonna chop for what we're gonna boil. Okay, so since all these are just going in the pan to boil, these can be roughly chopped as well. Just trying to stick to around a similar size so they cook similarly as well. I'm just gonna do those, just chop the zucchini in about 4. I'll show you the tomatillas. So in the store, usually they'll have the husks on them. These might be a little harder to find. They have them at the farmer's market. They also have them they did have them at Whole Foods by the peppers and things like that. And so you're just gonna take the husks off. Sometimes you'll see them without the husks, like little green tomatoes, but make sure they're not green tomatoes because green tomatoes are just like a non-ripened tomato. So make sure it is a tomatilla, but they look like little tomatoes. Once you chop into them, they look slightly different. So we're just going to cut that where you take off the husk, chop off that little knob at the top, and then these two, like you want them around the same size, so just cut them like in half is fine, like that. So we're gonna do 4 for this salsa, but give or take, if they're like bigger, you know, it can be give or take. So these are what are in those green salsas. But today we're going to do like a mix of a green and red with the tomatoes. But if you wanted more or less of that green tomato taste, there's just a little bad piece on here that was brown, so I'm just chopping that off. Some at the top, cut it in half. One more. It can be a little sticky too. Okay, so those are those. We're also going to use some white onion, about half of this is like a mid-size. So that will be fine, or if you have like a half in your fridge, that will work. So I'm just going to chop the ends. Okay, cut it in half. These to the side. Just make sure all the skin's off. Like this. And then said about half is fine. So I'm just going to cut that in half. Maybe in quarters. So they kind of are all the same size. Like that. So they're about that size. Okay, and then we're going to do the tomatoes are the last thing. So again, cutting off the top of that, cut it in quarters, or I have like 2 big tomatoes, or if you have like the smaller little ones, you could do about 4 of those. It doesn't really matter this time of year. I mean, tomatoes are only really good in the summer, so we're boiling them and mixing them with things, so it doesn't really matter. Just whatever kind of looks best is fine. Right now. Can be different varietals. Okay, so cutting this up. Okay, so those are all our ingredients that we're gonna boil. So we're gonna heat some salted water on a pan, and then or in a, you can use any kind of pan that you can put some water in, and then we're gonna let that all, once the water's boiling, with that salted water, we're gonna add all the ingredients, and then we're gonna let it simmer, and really just about like 8 minutes till everything's soft should be enough. So just kind of poke it with the fork and make sure everything's kind of tender, and it'll be ready to be blended. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like once everything is all done. Okay, so now that everything is finished cooking, I'll show you how the roasted peppers look once they're roasted. They're like a little blistered, and so that's kind of perfect. They're just soft. Yeah, and with that 12 minutes at 400 degrees, that's how they came out. So they look good like that. So I'm gonna put those in the blender. So we're gonna start putting everything in. Just gonna pour that in. Then this is what everything looked like boiled. So you can see everything's pretty soft. Tomatoes are falling apart a bit. The tomatillas did too. But that's all good because we're gonna blend it all up and it's all softened. So I'm just gonna pour that stuff in. You can see my blender is pretty small and it fits everything. So like that. Okay, and then we're gonna add a couple more things. So I'm just gonna also grab a little bit of cilantro again. And it's all gonna go in the blender, so you don't even really have to chop it. You can just kind of pull with your hands. I'm gonna add like a handful in there. And then I'm also gonna add some lime. So I'm just gonna cut this one in half. We'll start with the half again, and then we can always add more at the end if we want it more acidic. Just squeeze that in there. We'll also start out with, it will need some salt. So I'll start out sprinkling some, and then we can add as we go. Sprinkle some in there. I'm also gonna add a little olive oil again, just so it will, to make it a little creamy, but we're gonna add that at the end so we don't over process that olive oil. So I'm gonna put the lid on. Mine just kind of goes gradual, or you can, even if it's like you're making a smoothie. So I'm just gonna kind of blend this. So it might have got stuck a little bit, so I can use the spoon. Something maybe a little stuck at the bottom, which is normal. Okay, so you can kind of taste it so we don't over blend, because we might keep adding some different ingredients. So I'll give it a taste. Yeah, it's tasting really good. A little spicy too. I'll just add a little more lime. It was a tiny lime, so just make it a little more acidic. So this is to taste, and this to your taste. And this is the best part about practicing with cooking, is you just always don't want to follow a recipe to the T, because you might have more or less of some ingredients. So really getting used to keep tasting as you go is a great way to learn. So add a little more salt. And then, since most of it's pretty blended, I'll just add a little drizzle of olive oil. Blend that up a bit again. Give it a taste. Like I said, I have an extra handy spoon. Yeah, it tastes really good. I would say it has enough lime, but just a little more salt. And then I think it's pretty good. I think it's good to go. So I have my lid here. And then this you can make like the night before, ahead of time. This will last a long time because it's so acidic. So you can do that even a few days ahead. And it will, since we kind of boiled the ingredients close to it, it's gonna be warm. So you might, if you're gonna make it right before the gathering, you might wanna cool it down for a little bit before if you want it chilled, and it will kind of thicken up in the fridge too. So I'll give it a final taste. Let's use a little bit of this with my finger. Yeah, it's tasting really good. So we have our salsa done. So I'm gonna put this to the side, and we'll put everything in the bowls at the end, because the last thing I want to show you is the jicama strips, and then we'll have the chips, and then we'll have everything ready to go. So I'll just clear the space. Hey there, thank you so much for watching this video. So we can reach more viewers, please like and subscribe to this video, and make sure to turn on your notifications. If you have any thoughts or ideas you'd like to share, please leave them in the comments. Now let's get back to the video. Okay, so I'll show you how to cut up the jicama. So this is what the jicama root looks like. Like I said, I got it at the Latin market, or you can buy it chopped up somewhere at a, like if you're at, sometimes I see it like at near us, Rouse or Whole Foods or Sprouts. Sometimes they have it like in the little package section, but I'll show you how to cut it. So first we're gonna cut each end, kind of like you're doing an onion. They're a bit hard, but they're not too bad. Okay, and then we're gonna take off all the skin, and it kind of peels too as you're going. So I'm just gonna kind of roughly do that, and then sometimes you can peel the rest. Just do the sides. And I also love jicama for serving to kids, because you can cut it in strips, and it's really good to serve strips to, like if you're working on a kiddo who's like working on solids. So if they're about like 9, 10, 11, 12 months, you're really trying to work on that lateralization, or if you're like moving their tongue around their mouth and things like that. So strips are a really good thing to serve them. And then it's also good for a bit older kids because it's an alternative. It's crunchy. It's a white food. It doesn't look anything too fancy for them. Usually kids love crunchy food. So it's a great food to introduce them to. Just gonna keep peeling this. And I love it too because I feel like when you eat so many chips at once, like they're kind of addicting, right? Because they're salty and they're crunchy, and then you feel like you eat too many. So it's good to have other vegetables out, such as jicama or other raw veggies when you're serving dips. I kind of want to show you too that it, see how it's kind of like peels like that. If you get it going, you can kind of peel it off like that, just to show you that all the skin comes off pretty easy. Okay, just kind of like an onion again. We're going to cut it in half. That. And then we're just going to cut it in slices. Okay, so you can serve it in slices like this too. I was saying we're going to show you like sticks. So you can kind of, after you cut it like that, cut them in spears so they're kind of like easy to dip. So just grab a few chunks. You can also add lime and salt to them if you're going to kind of serve them more like on their own. I think they're really good plain. If you're having two different kinds of dips, I think it's enough. We're going to go like that. This one. Okay. And if you find the whole one, it's better because you'll get a lot more out of it for like, I think this one was like couple dollars at the most. So like I know when you buy them cut up in strips, it's convenient because they might have been like that for a few days and they might be a little drier and they're a lot more expensive. So it's worth it to try it out if you can find one to kind of cut it up and try it out. Okay, so now we have all our things ready. So I'll just kind of show you if we're gonna bring it to a party, how everything will look. So we can have a serving plate here, and we can add our strips on one side. So when we were at the store earlier, I saw that Siete. It's a great brand if you need gluten-free options because they have cassava, almond flour, and all that kind of thing, tortillas, and they're delicious. So, but I saw that they had corn tortilla chips, which I hadn't seen before. Usually they make them out of their cassava ones, so we'll give it a try. But also, like, if you can find someone who made fresh chips, that's like the best option. Sometimes someone's selling one at the farmer's market or something like that. But we will some of those out. There's two options. Okay. I'll give it a taste. I'm curious. It is really good. Good option. Okay. So if you're going to a party, it's good to have a few bowls that you can put salsa out. I'll pour some in. Like I said, usually this would be chilled already, but if it's a little warm, it's okay too. It will chill over time. So we got that. So see, it has a nice, because those tomatillas has that nice green color. And you could always mark one spicy, one not spicy if you added pepper at the end or something like that. And then we have our guacamole too, so I can put some of that in here. So I'm gonna grab that. Here. Put those out, one on each side. And then some of the guacamole. Cooking. Okay. So, I have a spoon on me at the moment, so I'll use my knife. It works. So, sorry, I'm right-handed, so should I put this in? I'm gonna scoop some of that in. We can leave the pits in there for next. Sometimes, I mean, you can serve it with the pits too, like if it's laid out on top. It looks kind of cool, and it will keep it from getting too brown. So, get that here. Like I said, kind of put one in there. Add a little extra. Add another one, another pit in there. So there you go. Everything's naturally plant-based, gluten-free, nut-free, dairy-free, and they're delicious and crowd pleasers like I mentioned. So, okay, so here's all what we made today. So we made our guacamole, our salsas, we have our jicama chips and our chips, and everything is naturally gluten-free, plant-based, dairy-free, and they're all things that usually people love. So salsa, guacamole chips. So please let me know if you try these out. Let me know in the comments too what other kind of recipes you love to bring to a gathering. And I want to thank you so much for watching, and ciao for now.